What is up, guys? It's Verns back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the AFL Round 15 review. I know it's another video late in the week. I'd like to say I'm sorry. If you can hear that little bit of scratching, my boy wants to get in the room and see me. But no, he is actually the reason I've been a little bit late. Monday night we got some poor news regarding him, and honestly wasn't really feeling up to doing the pod on Tuesday because of it. Um, but yeah, basically the mask that was removed, for those that I guess do care. I mean, if you don't, that's fair enough. Feel free to skip forward, but I guess just a bit of a life update. But the mask that was removed, it came back as an aggressive, bone cancer, which obviously isn't good news. So look, just took the day off, spent it with him. He's getting a CT scan tomorrow to see if it's spread, which hopefully it hasn't, but I guess we'll find that out soon enough. So yeah, it was just I don't know, sort of hit me on. I mean, we did that straight after work on Monday, and I just wasn't feeling up to recording. And as I said, Tuesday gave to him. Yesterday I had basketball, but yeah, I just didn't even feel like doing the pod Tuesday for Supercoach Hub, which ended up working out. Scobie ended up having his car break down, so it didn't end up happening anyway. Um, but yeah, just a bit of a shit week. I mean, I loved the Tuesday with him. It was a great Tuesday with him. Went and picked up my brother's dog, and he had a good day with him. And yeah, just give him the best life that we can. So I guess that's just a quick life update as to why I was a little bit delayed, guys, in just getting out this week. You know, sometimes things are happening in life, and I love doing this. I really do love doing these videos. I love this game. I enjoyed it so much, and I love being a part of this community. But yeah, sometimes things are happening in life, and you just need to obviously do those instead. So yeah, a little bit late in the week again. Sorry about that. We'll try and improve it going forward. But as you can see, also not an impressive week from us. I mean, one that you almost just don't want to share. Just a 1953, which I didn't think was that bad in hindsight. I thought the team did well, but it just got smashed by a lot of teams. I know the consensus team dropped to 2200 and went rocketing up the ranks. They've now got like 10k spots on me almost. I'm like, geez. But I think the big difference here was we ended up with 16 primos, and I thought that was good enough. But I think I saw a lot of people actually being able to field 18, and there was a lot of big scores, a lot that I was on the end of, but it wasn't quite the case. I guess if anyone's listening to this as an audio, then it's 1953. We went down 1,200 spots, so to 2,300. Overall, I think about a net positive of 9,000 spots in the buys, but I honestly was hoping a green dot every week, and I was just didn't quite happen. And some of those green dots, they weren't impressive. So yeah, pretty disappointing overall from me. Definitely fell further behind. The Skodfather did throw a really cool stat up as to just like what points you need to be like top 10,000, 5,000, 1,000, 100, 10, etc. And we're about 500 points, I think it was. Oh, no, it might have been 300 points. I forgot what it was, but I'm going to say 500 points. Yeah, it was 500. Sorry, I'm looking at this instead of this. So I think, 31,500-ish is about 10k rank. So about 500 points away from there. Hopefully we can gruel that down in the coming weeks and get to at least the top 10 for 1,000. That would at least be something. But we'll jump into the team. Look, I've moved the team around since what it was. It's not like we're making trades or anything. So, I mean, I can show you what it looked like coming into the week. So this is what we did, and as you can sort of see, this is the problem. We ended up fielding, as I mentioned, 16 primos, which seems fine, especially when you have so many massive scores. We had great scores. I mean, look at that LDU score. I thought that was huge. Dunkley score was massive. Green score was massive. So we had some big scores here, and I thought even just getting over the tons, like these were good scores. We only until we had McGovern drop below, we had all of our premiums going over the ton. Unfortunately, we did captain Luke Ryan, which that would have cost us a lot of points as well. Obviously, the Gorm 114, I wasn't quite satisfied with it, so it was Flanders versus Ryan, and I wanted to play for the Ryan upside rather than, I guess, the safety in Flanders, because I did think this might happen where Flanders scores roughly the same as Gorn, and there's just no net pos, like, it's not a big deal. I thought Ryan has more of that fluctuation where, yeah, I could have lost 20, which I did, but I could gain 20. And so I decided to take the punt on Ryan. Yeah, it didn't quite work out, unfortunately. But that's all right. But yeah, as you can see, what killed me is these rookies. So we had Pink go off at halftime injured, so he would have been tracking for an all right one. We had Cleary and Brown both with 21, 27 apiece. So yeah, we had Pink get injured, and then we had two subs. And the reason that you guys might be looking at this like, Vern, why did you hold on to them? They ended up being the subs. I didn't want to mess myself up. I mean, to say this, Cleary, I did see it at 4:34, jumped on, was able to hit trade, and then before I could click to bring in Sard, it already said, "Uh-oh, your player's locked out." So that's how close I was. I was seconds away from moving Cleary to Sard, and it just didn't happen. So it was a bit unfortunate. Obviously, if he was already in game, it wouldn't have even given me the option to hit the trade button. So the point I could hit the trade, but I couldn't quite get there. A little bit frustrating in that instance. The 17k would have been nice in the pocket, and look, the DPP wouldn't do too much at this point in the season without a loop. But the extra 17k would have been pretty nice in case of an injury or if I want to force an upgrade. We also went Anderson. As you guys know, I wanted to play a bit more risky, towards that pod. We actually had the money to go Merit, and I did consider that the night before when I didn't really get a good Gorn score. I was like, I'm pretty confident Merritt's going to do good, and I want to give him the captaincy. If I bring in Anderson, I'm not going to give him the captaincy because I don't trust him with the captaincy, but I want to take, I guess, the pod play. So look, if I brought in Merritt, would have been, I think, an extra 40 points on top of Anderson, it might have been. And then, as I said, I would have put the captaincy probably on him and like 80 extra points that way. But look, that's not the end of the world. And with this, I like Anderson as an antipod. Yes, him getting outscored by Merit by like 30 or 40 or whatever it was this week, it sucks. But we got 9 more weeks for him to make that up. And I'm hoping that he does. I mean, one thing that you're going to see in my team that you won't with many others is if you got a head to head with someone, you're probably going to sit there and be like, okay, we got like 5 differences from our best 22, maybe 4, maybe 3. You're not going to have many differences. Where I feel like I got a lot of uniques there. We got Holmes, we got McGovern. McGovern maybe not that unique, but yeah, I think definitely Holmes. LDU's pretty unique. Dunkley's pretty unique. Anderson's pretty unique. Even still holding Reed and having Sexton's very unique. So I have a fair few uniques. English I think is actually quite unique these days too. So there's quite a lot of uniques there that when you verse my team, you're probably going to have like 11 differences. And I think I had that in my matchups this week, like 11 different players. And it leaves a lot of room for fluctuations and massive scores to happen. And that's how I'm going to catch like these players at the end of the day. Like if I brought in yeah, he might score more points, but if Anderson outscores him as a pod, it's going to do a lot more for me. So I thought I'd play towards Anderson. Seemed a bit more fun. Didn't work out this week, but I still have faith in the boy to go big. But awesome, as I said, team overall not terrible scores from the premiums. I think 3 sub tons, including Sexton's 80s and then a 99 and a 93. Other than that, everyone went over the ton. We had some big scores. I guess the only other problem here is I had some big scores. I went, man, I got some massive premiums. Why didn't that like translate more? But I guess we did have players like Goulden that we don't own that's highly owned, Grundy that's highly owned, Neil decently owned. Like we still had Sheasel decent, like very highly owned. We still had, I guess, antipod players. Well, not even antipod. Maybe Goulden, Grundy, and Sheasel, but yeah, players that we don't own that still went very big that are still decently owned by the competition. So I guess that was the difference here. But speaking about trading out someone like Brown for someone else, like I know the ladies man, Corey Blackledge, he did put his post up, but he did make this mistake where he saw Brown was the sub and he moved to Hutchinson, and Hutchinson's a forward only, and he put himself in this position where he's position locked himself, where he has example Dawson Kruger and let's just say Hutchinson, and none of them can get moved out of their positions without basically trading one of them, so that you can then put like Flanders down to the forward line and get your 22 on field. So really unlucky to him there, and that's what I wanted to avoid, and that was why I didn't move Brown at the end of the day, even though he was sub. I didn't want to ruin myself by, I don't know, there wasn't any like mid DPP players that were really playing, and I knew I couldn't afford to bring in a rookie that wasn't a mid DPP. Sorry, there wasn't at least a mid. So I just, I just decided to stick with him so I wouldn't position lock myself and hinder my future rather than just for 1 week. So yeah, this is how the team ended up looking. We're going to throw the premiums on field. We've got the 22 premiums now. And look, I think the team looks fine. As I mentioned, a lot of pods here. I mean, I wouldn't mind making an aggressive move for like a Sinclair, or maybe I could head towards a Nas. Like I love St. Kilda's run home. I love how good Sinclair's been. But to do that, I'd have to either move one of these guys in the back line, like one of these top five, like McGovern, Holmes, Houston, Ryan, or Dacos. I don't really want to move any of them. Or I'd have to move one of these midfielders, and I don't really want to move one of these midfielders either. So, look, I'm probably just going to stick fat at the moment, hold the 4 trades, and as I said, if this ends up in a position where I've got a sideways like a Sexton and I end up on 3 trades, then I probably don't end up um, I don't end up probably pushing for a 23rd premium. I also realized, if you guys remember last week, I reflected on I was surprised I was out of trades, but I did end up like obviously sidewaysing Jack McRae, which was, and it wasn't even a sideways. I had to put 150k on top of McRae to get him to Zorko. So I mean, technically, if I don't do Jack McRae up, and say I still have Jack McRae here on my team instead of Zorko, which would have been awful, then obviously that 150k and then the 2 trades, like the one down and the one up that I used for him, I can use that on a 23rd player and I get there. So that's why when I looked at my 23rd, 24th, that's actually where it went. Sidewaysing like Crouch, upgrading McRae. That basically cost me my 23rd player. So that was my bad for even, I guess, bringing in McRae. I really, really had faith in the boy, but it just didn't translate, unfortunately. We did obviously see that teams are named, so I'm just going to throw some emergencies. Pink is apparently playing, which is really, really good news for me, because I need to keep making cash, more or less. And the thing is, if I want a DPP defender, I have to trade either Caulfield or Pink eventually. So if Pink can at least get maybe 50 more K on him, and then I can, Dowling get enough money on him, Pink gets traded. Even if I want to swing Dorset up, though, no, that'd be fine because I'd swing Dawson up. And then if I traded someone in the midfield, I'd bring in someone like a Sinclair and I'd have that DPP sort of loop swing. So I could swing that way. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen because we only have 4 trades. So I don't know even why I'm wasting my time talking about that. But we will worry about this week. I mean, trades-wise, if you guys are still looking to finish your teams, like, I mean, you can already see the players. You know who is the top of their game. But me personally, I love Sinclair as a pick. This Marvel run home, I would be eyeballing him like crazy. If you have a luxury sideways and you got 100k in the bank, it's always a bit weird saying someone like Nick Martin who just dropped a 112. Like, I would never move. It's hard to say. Like, I just don't want to move any of my defenders. But I guess he would be the one that would go if I had to choose one. You could even say me going sideways from Holmes to Sinclair could net me a lot of points. Like, that could net me a lot of points, but that's going from one pod to another pod, and it might not. At the end of the day, if there's very minimal points of difference, it's not going to matter. So yeah, I'm probably just going to stick fat the way it is. This week, captains, it's a bit hard. I say a bit hard. It's nice to have all these good players back, but I think it's hard because there's just so many good options. At the end of the day, we've got Brisbane into Melbourne. So, I mean, Zorko is obviously a great option. Dunkley or Neil potentially with this Melbourne, like, depleted Melbourne side where, Clary is, like, really the only guy in there with Petrarca gone now. Salem even got injured, so he's not playing, and he'd been obviously pinch hitting in the mid periods of time, so I guess maybe Cozzy's going to be in there even more. But yeah, I think that means that the Brisbane mids could definitely go massive. Zorko could go big because Melbourne are really good at just giving up points to defenders, and Zorko at the Gabba, he just has like this insane 135 plus average, so it's hard to look past Zorks. The other thing here is Gawn into Brisbane, but I think I'm fading away from that just because Gawn's last 2 against McInerney, he dropped the 215 and then he dropped the 140 earlier this year, so he's had good matchups against McInerney, but he doesn't have a midfield anymore. He doesn't have guys to tap it down to. There's a good chance that he might have a lot of balls sharked. Yes, he usually beats Oscar around the ground, but I don't know. I just think a weaker Melbourne team, weaker Melbourne midfield, I think that will affect Gawn. So I'm not as comfortable jumping on Gawn. Then we have North into Dogs. I mean, LDU being in insane form, which is great. I mean, it's Bont into North. And his last 3 have been insane as well. I mean, 180 and a 160 in there. So he's in good form. LDU's in good form. Hard to say there. We look at Sydney. Goulden's been in some great form. He could be a shout. Freo coming back at them. Yeah, don't know if I'm actually very happy with any Freo players. I think maybe just Goulden in this game. People's first. I mean, you could take a punt on one of these Gold Coast players. I mean, pies aren't super restrictive. I don't think I guess Nick Dacos as a pie, obviously, he's been super reliable and super consistent, especially in the last few weeks. Like, yeah, he got tagged in his last game, but before that, wait, it hasn't projected it on us break even. Whoo! Ooh, projected 144 though, still insane. But yeah, before we got hit by this 64, we've had massive games, and yeah, he's just been on a tear. Like what, basically 130 for all of those games, bar like the 105 and 64. Yes, I'm going to count the 128 and 129. Basically 130s is what I said. So Dacos, huge shout there, obviously. Super reliable. I mean, Green could go back big against Adelaide. That's definitely something that could happen. Merritt into Geelong, maybe. We all know that we're eyeballing this Houston into St. Kilda. That could also be a bloody bloodbath. And then we have Carlton into Richmond, which, yeah, once again, Walsh, if you've got a Cripps, maybe. Even one of the key forwards I wouldn't trust with the C. So it's unfortunate it's one of the last games in the round because, yeah, that's one that I would look at there. So I'm just going to quickly look at what everyone else is doing before we jump into it. So we're just going to jump into, I guess, top 5%. It's usually a good indicator. So I just want to see who are people trading if they're trading at all. So people are trading in Rosie, Rankin. Yeah, these guys, they all make sense. Rosie's so cheap, had a good game this week. It would be a great 23rd, but it would like DBP on our 23rds, but that's okay. We can get over it. Rankin, yeah, I mean, one of the best forwards in the game and has looked really good. Fair enough. If he's your final upgrade, I agree. Same with Curnow. Great run. Looked really good this week. I mean, we don't know as big on Curnow last week, so those guys make sense. Simpkin, yeah, I like the Simpkin shout. Out Clary, I understand that. Clark, Sexton. Ooh, people moving Sexton out. So I guess they're trying to upgrade maybe Sexton to a Rankin, but I just don't want to force that. I just don't want to force that. I can't afford to force it as it is. But we'll jump into most captain. So Dacos most captain, then Flanders, Merritt, Bont, Gorn. Okay. Goulden, Houston, yeah. So that's about the top 10 right there. Understandable sort of players I was looking at as well. Maybe not the Sarong. I wasn't too happy with that. But who's the most VC? Gorn. I mean, very understandable. As I sort of mentioned, Gorn's last two against Brisbane have been insane. It's just... Oh, man, the boy really wants to get in. So he got knocked... He got injured in the first 2 minutes, so that doesn't count. But then he went 215 and 138. Like, it's hard to look at that history and not just think Gorn. Yeah, Zork into them as well as good. Bont, Dacos, Neil I like as a shout. Yep, Goulden. Some people going dunks, very potty. LDU. And I hate the idea of going with the pack here and just sort of locking in like a Zorks or something, but it's not even really much of going with the pack. I mean, considering if you count the captaincies, who's probably going to get changed, but 30% of the people are gone. Yeah, only 14%. It's not really with the pack. It's actually quite unique how well it's spread out. And since it's the first game, you know the captaincies aren't doubling up. Like, Bont could be doubling up. People might VC Gorn, not like it, take his captaincy, where others VC him and take that. So you could have 24, 25% of people taking a Bont. But Zorko, you're not getting any more than 14, so it's not really with the crowd. So I don't mind that idea. As I said, there's a lot of good options to choose from here. So, yeah, we're not, as I said, we're not trading or anything, so we're just going to lock in a captain. Oh, I think I'm going to look for the Zork. I think I'm going to go Zork. Yeah, it just seems too good. He's been too good at the Gabba. And, do I go to Zork? God, this is actually so hard to choose, honestly. I wouldn't even... I mean, Houston's just too far away, and I don't know if I don't trust him with the C. That's the problem there. And I'm not going to VC Houston into... like a C. There's nobody left. What, McGovern? That ain't it. Could look as Dacos as the fullback. Bont, LDU. I think they're the ones I'd like the most. So Bont, LDU, Dacos as fullbacks. LDU Ripper form in Marvel, but the Bont. Bont probably won't get tagged. I mean, maybe we can just go Dacos and chill. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So I think we're most likely going to be taking at the end of the day a Zorko VC, but if it fails, we don't just back in Dacos. Yeah. Awesome. Look, that's going to be me wrapping up, guys. There's really not too much more to talk about at the end of the day because most people are full premiums. You're ready to go. I mean, we can have a quick look at some leagues. So if you're in my leagues, we can have a quick squiz at you. Because you're all thumping me. I'm getting absolutely wrecked in leagues. So we're just going to jump in here. But we can see that, yeah, I'm crashing here. So I gotta zoom out of this so we can actually look at it a bit better. But we can see I've been absolutely getting pumped here. We're down 6 and 8. We're still miles away from the top there. So congrats on everyone that's doing well up here and way on top of me. We're not too far away from the 8 though. 2 games. I mean, how many games are left? Oh wow, I think 16, 17, and then no, there's gonna be more than that. Usually have 17 and then oh no, but we got a 20-man league, so we're gonna have 19, then final. So we have 4 games left to try and catch the pack. We'll see how we go. Yeah, watch out everyone. We'll coming for you. Second league not doing well either, sitting around 10th. Only a game out of this one though, so 4 games to try and get that back to get to the top 10. Yeah, I mean, yeah, once again, congrats to anyone that's really doing well up here at the top. Absolutely crushing it. I think newcomers are also in the FTT league, TV league with me, I think. And anyone that's having a rough season, bad luck. I'm sure you'll get back on top of it. And then the final one. We're getting crushed here again. So competitive at the top. Look at this. Crazy competitive at the top. Really anyone's game for who gets top 4. We're apparently sitting 9th though, and we're apparently in the mix. So, man, top 4 isn't even out of contention here. So I guess we'll try and push that if we can. Apparently been on a bit of a win streak. I don't think we won this week, so we'll take that though. We'll take that. Yeah, and I guess a few of the leagues I'm in with, a few of the other big dogs who are absolutely crushing it. We're just going to look. I think DR's league is, yeah, 7th overall. Abs is smashing it. DR doing really well here too. I mean, if we're looking at, I think total points is probably better to look at here, but these people are absolutely crushing it this season. And I'm lucky enough to be in a league by them getting absolutely pumped every week. So, you know, thank you guys. Oh, I'm literally last. Oof, thank you for having me. Oh, and then, yeah, I think what Podmaster seat 1, yeah, 18. Once again, I'm just tanking this league for everyone. 5 and 9, it's not the worst, but definitely not good. So I'm tanking that hard. I think this one's 8th. So another league I'm in where I'm just tanking it. Apparently I'm 7 and 7 in this league. Wow, I mean, I could actually push for a top 8 finish here. What the hell? I don't think I deserve that at all, but you know what? It is what it is. We'll push for that. We'll see if we can get it. Nate's only 2 ahead of us, so steal it from him. Oh, yeah, I guess that's a quick wrap on some of the leagues, guys. Look, Spills one, I thought I was doing better, 7 and 7, but down at 12. 7 and 7 puts me 11th. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll be it for me, guys. I appreciate all you for tuning in, for you staying towards the end of the video. I'm sure if you haven't already, for those that have stuck around, but you know that I appreciate it. If you have liked or subscribed for your consistent injections of Supercoach content, straight into your YouTube feed. But till next time, peace, later.